I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Saturday Night Live after show. As you can see, the studio looks a little bit different behind me. We are all practicing our social distancing right now, coming to you remotely. And don't worry, I know it's just me today. Steph is okay, safe and sound, healthy as can be, but she wasn't able to make it tonight. So going to be me talking about the most recent Saturday Night Live episode, which was, of course, Daniel Craig and The Weeknd. So I'll still be running down the show like normal, talking about all the sketches. I'll still be doing my Anatomy of a Sketch segment where we break down one of the sketches, talk a little bit more about the structure of it, the bones of the sketch, kind of how it all works and how it all came together. And then we unfortunately, I'm so sorry, do not have news and gossip tonight. You know that Steph is the news and gossip queen. So unfortunately, I know I won't be able to come up to her level, so I'm like, why even bother? So that's how it's going to work tonight. Thanks for tuning in. I know everyone's binge watching a ton of stuff right now. People are tuning into shows that they might not always be tuning into, which is pretty great. People are turning themselves on to some new shows. So thanks for tuning in this week. Heads up for our following shows. SNL actually just announced that they are going to be going on hiatus for the next few episodes. So we'll be back at you at some point whenever they say that they're going to be coming back. But let's talk about this episode. Daniel Craig coming back to host. I'm a fan of his in the sense that I've seen some of his movies and enjoyed him in it. I'm not really someone who knows a lot about him, but I do enjoy the things that I've seen him in. Obviously, 007. I think it's always really fun when someone like this hosts SNL because we get to see such a different side of them. We get to see them just kind of go for it. And it's one of those moments that I'd love to see more behind the scenes, because getting to see just kind of what they're willing to do is always really interesting to me. I love getting to see kind of that process of people pitching ideas to them, or what maybe their PR person was like, oh, we don't want to do this, we do want to do that, because some people do have those ground rules when they come onto the show. But I thought he did a great job in a lot of these sketches. I enjoyed him very much in a lot of them. Overall, it wasn't my favorite episode. I think the writing was a little lackluster, but I still enjoyed quite a bit of this show. So let's start talking about each one of the sketches. So first, let's start with the cold open. I'm just going to say Elizabeth freaking Warren was there. Elizabeth Warren. I absolutely loved that she came on to do this. It was on my wish list. One of the first episodes of this season when Kate does her Elizabeth Warren. My wish list, top of it was to get to see the two of them side by side. And it was achieved in this episode. Made me so happy. My heart exploded a little bit. They did it through the Ingram angle. Of course, Kate doing double duty in this sketch, first playing Laura Ingram, and then props to wardrobe and everyone behind the scenes. We always talk about what an amazing crew and team this is at SNL to put on this show every week. And this is one of those moments where you get to see it, where, Kate's playing Laura Ingram, and all of a sudden they're doing a close on Elizabeth Warren. And before you know it, Kate's coming in on the other side in her Elizabeth Warren getup. So huge props to the crew on that. Overall, I think the cold open, it was funny. It moved around well. I always love when they get to do Don Jr. and Eric Trump. It's nice when we get to see them outside of Update as well, because I think sometimes those characters play their course when it comes down to seeing them on Update week after week after week. So I really enjoy getting to see them out of that element. And of course, Jeanine Pirro. Whenever Cecily does Jeanine Pirro, it's just a home run. A lot of the specifics in this are great. I loved when they mentioned that Bernie's running mate was going to be the ghost of Fidel Castro. A lot of small moments like that. Warren just yelling at people for owning cars. Anytime they make fun of Fox News, it's always going to be a win, I think. And bonus, not only did we get Elizabeth Warren, we also got Daryl Hammond coming back to do his Chris Matthews, because Chris Matthews is insane. And so why not get to poke fun at how insane he is? And he's no longer on MSNBC after he resigned, quote unquote. Getting to see him come back was great, which we'll get another cameo later too, which I know you guys are all excited about as well. For the monologue, I think this was a great example of he was so good in it. He was very excited. He was on point. I love the Fleabag reference with Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I don't love that they cut to a taped sketch in the middle of it. I think it feels to me like when they do that, it's almost like they don't trust the host to finish a monologue. And it's one thing, a lot of times they'll do that with athletes who just you can tell they're just kind of lost up there and don't know what they're doing. But he was doing a good monologue. I didn't think the jokes were great, but I appreciated him in the first half of the monologue. So I was a little let down that they went to this essentially full sketch. I mean, it just kind of kept going, which was that spoof on, getting new footage of the new James Bond movie, which was obviously just bananas. I liked the way that it escalated in the sketch once they were there, but I just didn't really see the purpose of doing that in the monologue instead of actually just making that a digital short later in the show. So, I mean, just where I'm coming from on that, I was like, let him go. He's doing a good job. Let 007 do his thing up there. We don't need a sketch in the middle of the monologue. First sketch of the night after that, though, we had Sands of Modesto, kind of a mix of what if a soap opera was taped during the age of social distancing. So it went back and forth between the stereotypical tropes of being on a soap opera and the crazy storylines, the close-ups on camera, everything like that we love from sketches where they focus on soap operas, but then the added element of having social distancing. And at first I wasn't a huge fan of the sketch because I'm like, okay, they've got to do a lot more than what they're doing right now. But the way that they escalated it to the point of, Kate putting saran wrap over herself so that he could just pounce on her, doing the glass in between them when they try to kiss. I think that made it work a lot better. The fact that they went there and got a little bit crazy with it. Until then, I think it was kind of, it wasn't working for me. And you could even see Kate, one of the things I noticed in the beginning of the sketch, one of the first things she does, she sprays the Lysol disinfectant on the phone. And it wasn't really getting a laugh. And Kate, being Kate, knew that she had to push it a little bit further. And I think if I had to guess, it was just instinctually being like, we need to do something more. And this is a great segue because I was just talking about Kate, who is a queen, and look at the queen that is joining us right now.
Dude!
Freaking Sabraw.
What's good, my sis?
How are you doing? I had to warn everyone and let them know that you're safe, you're healthy, you're good.
Yeah, I'm safe. I'm safe from the crooners for now. I've been trying to stay in as much as possible, but it's hard because I'm hungry.
You are all of us right now. You're speaking to all of us.
Grocery stores are like empty, and I ordered a bunch of pasta and black beans and stuff like that, and then they just gave me pasta, which is fine, but I want to save that for hibernation. Anyway, exactly. I missed you. So glad we could talk about this episode.
I know, and it's perfect because I just started talking about the Sands of Modesto and all of their social distancing jokes in there. And I feel like we're in that joke right now, just having to, we don't get to be in the studio together. This is our social distancing episode.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it funny? I felt like, because I watched the episode, parts of it again, and I'm like, they teased about what was happening, and just to think about how much things have changed in such short time.
We're all looking back on this going, oh, that was adorable.
That was a good time.
Now flash forward and here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. Well, what was before we get, I was just talking about the Sands of Modesto. We'll talk about the next digital short on the couch in a minute. What was your overall take on this episode though? And like, are you a fan of Daniel Craig? Do you know a lot about him going into this?
I don't know much about him. I like him, everything that I've seen him in, I've liked him in. I was worried about his comedy, and it was not as bad as I thought, but it wasn't my favorite episode.
Listen, this is why we're soulmates and we're getting married someday, because you pretty much said what I said at the beginning of this episode. I was like,
yeah, because I actually really like him. He's so charming, and you could tell he's having such a good time. He's just like does not hit the humor bar that I kind of need.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the writing didn't really help him too much in this episode. But let's talk about
the writing.
On the Couch. Yeah, it was. I was a little. I don't know. I mean, like, a lot of people are distracted right now. When I'm writing, when I'm sitting at home writing right now, when I'm doing things, like when my roommate has been working, like I feel like we're all just kind of like in a bit of a fog when it comes to anything. And I mean, this was written, obviously, this, show came together before all the madness really started, as far as, like preparing and everything, but it's still been weighing heavily on everyone. So you wonder if that, was a factor for this too.
That's a great point.
Well, maybe it was. Maybe we're just giving them a pass, and they just were shit writers this week. Who knows?
Well, no, honestly, it's so true, because I've been doing work and I've been like, Steph, why are you moving so slow? What's wrong? And I'm like, well, because an apocalypse is happening. Of course my brain's not firing on all cylinders.
Exactly. Everyone gets a pass right now.
I'd hope so.
I hope so. This digital short, on the Couch, it was like, I was grooving to it.
Yeah.
I was grooving to it.
Yeah. I actually really enjoyed it. I think that he's the perfect person to do digital shorts with too. Yeah. The entire group that they had involved.
Great to get to see The Weeknd on it.
I thought he was great. I feel like he's gonna do more acting, because he was in not Righteous Gemstones, Uncut Gems. He made an appearance, and then I feel like he had a few lines in this. I could see him trying to do both acting and singing.
Yeah, I appreciated getting to see him in it, and he was great in this. I wish that this had gotten where it was going a little bit sooner, because at first I was like, okay, like, I get it, like it was fun, I enjoyed it, but then once it got there and you see, oh yeah, they're just like both like Keenan and Chris, essentially, we're just like, oh no, yeah, like you guys are garbage, and then The Weeknd is just there. I liked the way it ended.
Yeah, me too. It had a good it was like it was like a peak, but it was soft, but do you know what I mean? It wasn't intense. I'm talking about sex, you guys. That's what I'm trying to describe to you right now. Sit back and listen. No, I sometimes it's a really obnoxious ending, and sometimes it's not enough. And I feel like this one was different, where it wasn't super intense, but it was still, it still was, I don't know, a climax moment.
Exactly. I think you walked us through that sex scene beautifully.
Thank you. Climax for both parties, the viewer and the people on screen. Don't forget it.
Obviously. I really hope some people just tuned in, like right now. I hope some people just turned on our show. Speaking of shows, the Deidre show.
Sorry, Vito. I know Vito's like, what is Steph doing?
we're gonna get a tour right now too.
Okay. Okay.
Beautiful. We got look at that angelic face and that lighting right now. I hope everyone is watching live as we're doing this. The Deidre show. Got to see Aidy and Ego together, which I love, because I love both of them, and I feel like they don't do a lot together.
Me too. Okay, I gotta be honest. I thought Ego performed really well, but the writing was just like, okay.
Yeah. It never went anywhere.
Never.
I was really hoping for it to escalate from something from the foil. And like, I get it. It's what she keeps circling back, and like, it's a funny idea, but then it just doesn't go anywhere from there. And I totally agree. Like, she performed it really well, but I just was like, what was the point of this sketch?
The foil?
It's all about the foil, I guess. And
it was really funny, but I feel like that was a B joke. Like, oh, because you think I'm going to eat the foil. But then it was the entire joke.
Yeah, and I mean, the audience really being behind Cookie also, like, I didn't understand the purpose of that. Like, yeah, it's.
Yeah, was
I
she
just
supposed to
didn't
be like
understand.
was she a Wendy Williams?
I think kind of that's the vibe that I got, but none of it made sense to me. I feel like it was like a half-written sketch that they were like, here
Yeah.
are the bones of it, and we'll fill in the rest later, and then they never filled in the rest. That's
They
kind of
didn't.
my take on that
So
one.
this is my takeaway. More ego,
Yes.
something different.
I think that should just be our like mantra for everything. More ego and something different.
Eggo waffles included, Eggo Nwodum included, eggs included.
Any form of ego. We're
Quick
down with.
cue. Did you already talk about Debbie Downer, or is that the special segment?
Oh no, that is next actually. So you pop this one off right now. Yes. Rachel Dratch, back to Debbie Downer.
Rachel Dratch is I was rewatching 30 Rock because what else can you do during this dark time?
Of course.
And she popped up in the pilot episode twice as two different characters. And I remembered her popping into SNL last weekend, obviously. And it's just, she is so versatile. But this role as Debbie Downer is so freaking good. Like, it is exactly, you think you would need an optimistic hero at this time, and I don't. I need Debbie Downer. I need her.
What a great excuse to bring her back. I mean, like, I remember just watching it being like, duh, of course we need Debbie Downer right now in the middle of a global health crisis. Who do we need? Debbie Downer.
Exactly who I need.
I love the way that they did the reveal for it too, where she comes in with the mask and then you get to see her, and I just, oh my god, I'm sure you were the same. I was like fist pumping on my couch.
I had a feeling though, because the Rachel Dratch Debbie Downer wig is like nothing else you've ever seen before. It is
Exactly.
one of one wig. I need to find it. As a fellow wig connoisseur, that one's important.
I feel like we need to do just everyone should be Debbie Downer for Halloween this year, no matter what.
Done.
Okay,
I already was
done and
Gilly
done.
once, so now I need to be Debbie Downer.
I think it'll be nice. You can put together a whole collage of all of your SNL costumes that you've done into it. This one specifically, I love that she brought back feline AIDS, because for some reason Debbie Downer always loves talking about feline AIDS. I gotta say it. What the hell was Keenan doing? Does he know how to use a fork? What is wrong with that man? It's real food. You don't have to eat it. But he's like waving his fork around it like freaking Harry Potter with his wand. I'm like, what do you do? You're not casting a spell on it. Act like you're eating it.
Yeah, I don't know if he was, what's the word, like trying to use more physical comedy, but it's only if you maybe didn't have a fork, but you did. And so why are you pretending?
It's always so upsetting to me because it becomes distracting, where I'm just like, what is this guy doing? Like, you're not adding anything to a sketch by doing that. It's just distracting. And also it's probably more distracting for me because I hate him. But, you know. Whatever. That's just me. Someone teach that man how to use a fork.
Overall,
let's yeah.
It was so good to see her. I love that woman.
And you know, it makes sense too. She's been there so often to come on to do Amy Klobuchar in the past. So I mean, it's been great getting to see her do that. But like, what a perfect way to bring her back in for one of her classic characters.
Dude, I don't want this to happen, but because the election's already so messed up from the primaries, and who knows if we're even gonna have an election with what's happening. But yeah. It's been obviously discussed that Biden might have Klobuchar as his VP running mate, which is not my number one draft pick by any means. But if there was one positive that could come out of it, it would be more Rachel Dratch on SNL.
This is true. I feel like obviously we should all base our decisions around facts and who we want to see on SNL.
You've got it, girl.
That's how you decide politics.
Exactly.
And you know what? Speaking of which, before we talk about The Weeknd, I know we had texted about this last weekend when this aired. Elizabeth Warren. I already fangirled out. I got my fangirling out of the way. I'm gonna give the floor to you to do it for a second too, though, because I know you wanted to.
Okay, let me just take this closer. Let me sit by the window and talk to you, E. Warren.
Beautiful.
I love Elizabeth, and I really, really want to get into the people who dragged her and was like, this woman says she's fighting for us, but she shows up on SNL. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, she showed up for a 5-minute spot when she's been working her butt off for decades for us and get asked for nothing. And here she is on SNL, which is also a TV show that many a time stands up for the liberal side, almost always, and is doing something for them, and you're dragging it. Like, that's just the type of that's the shit I don't like, America.
Preach.
Anyway, she
right
was
now,
such a doll. She was so awesome. They have such good chemistry, her and Kate McKinnon, and I feel like they've actually probably formed some sort of friendship, and that makes me so happy.
Yes, yeah, it does. And actually, at the good nights, you could just see like Kate and her embracing each other. Kate gives her a little kiss on the cheek. They're just holding each other. Cecily, I loved it. They're like literally every woman on SNL was in line waiting to hug Elizabeth Warren at the end of the show.
Dude, respect. And they're probably like us, where we're like, wait, I thought all of our friends voted for Elizabeth Warren. What happened?
Exactly. They're just like, no, don't leave us. Don't leave us.
Like, what did I miss? Because everyone I knew was voting for her, and then all of a sudden, no one did.
Oh, no, never mind. So you know what? Yeah, exactly. You go on SNL, you get some laughs in, you talk with your girl Kate, and you know what? Then she's still back at it, drafting up coronavirus policies, economic stimulus plans, and guess what? She did that even after making this appearance on SNL. Can you believe it?
This girl.
Right there. Let's just keep pointing in different directions for you.
I think I got it right that time.
There you go, nailed it. And I think before we moved on to the weekend, I think Elizabeth Warren deserves one of our chef kisses.
Absolutely.
Right to Elizabeth Warren right there for that performance. And actually, if you guys didn't see it, I know SNL tweeted it and put it on their Instagram, the video that her and Kate did afterwards, or at some point behind the scenes as well. I will put it, yes, her TikTok. If you guys haven't seen it, just do yourselves a favor. We all need some comedy in the world right now. We all need a good laugh. We all need Elizabeth Warren and Kate McKinnon doing TikToks together. That's
absolutely.
Look that up, guys. All right, let's talk about the weekend. Love that man's voice. Love that man's voice. What were your takeaways from his performances this week?
Let's address him as Abel today because he's earned that. Yo, I love the weekend. I think he is like, he's in his own lane. He's like a mixture of, if he could dance, he would be the next Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
So like that's literally the only thing that sets him apart. His voice is better than anyone really. He competes with John Legend vocally, and then lyrically he's like the most like sexy but disgusting, nasty sex freak lyrics ever. But I am here for it.
It's the best rundown I've ever heard of the weekend. It doesn't nearly come close to your rundown of Lizzo, but I mean,
he's not
nothing
on that
comes
level.
close to Lizzo. So, but no, I agree. You know what? Like you mentioned, like he's not a dancer, but his stage presence has gotten so much better too. Specifically, I remember back when he like first broke onto the scene and he did SNL, and I was like so mesmerized by his voice, but I was like, he looks so awkward up there. I don't think he knows what he's doing. And
Dude,
he's gotten so good.
That is such a good point. And also in his lyrics, in his last album, Starboy, or 2 albums ago, he had a song, forget what it was called. I listen to it all the time, but he talks about how he would always like do a bag full of Coke before award shows, even kid shows. And maybe he was just like really blown.
He's just like in his own head. He's like, don't move, just don't move, and it'll be fine. Survival tactics.
Yeah, but now he's like gotten the Jimmy Kimmel performance level on.
Yeah, no, totally. But yeah, so enjoyed both of his performances. Now, the weekend update. Our boys, we did get to see another the weekend update that they did last time too. So we got to see a little bit more of the weekend in there. And then we had two characters, one of which came back after a long hiatus. Very excited to see the girl at the party again. We had Bottle Boy. But before we get to those two characters, did you have any standout jokes? Anything that you were digging from the joke section?
No, not that I can remember. I did really like this weekend update. I felt like the jokes were a little bit longer. It wasn't as much of a punchline section.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. It was kind of like just kind of like ranting.
Yeah,
which is fitting right now. I did like. I think it was Colin's idea to out of Trump, Bernie, and Biden to put them all on the cruise ship and see whoever just like comes out without coronavirus as our president.
That was so funny.
He went in hard on Biden, Bernie, and Trump in the first couple jokes. Yeah, how old they are.
So sorry, gotta readjust.
No, you know what? I get it. I appreciate that you wanted to go for the close up when you talk about Elizabeth. It makes sense.
Yeah, I know. I went for it. Like now, I just feel like a teen blogger. Like, hey,
you are. You gonna show us how to contour?
Here's my swatch.
There you go. There you go. The rest of the episode taken over. Teen blogger, Stephanie. The other joke that I remember standing out was NASA talking about getting diversity, and Shay was like, "Good luck getting Black people on a ship to go to a new world." I think those are two of my standouts. But you're right; it was more like kind of long form rant.
Wait, that is so good. That one made me like jump.
Shay's coming with fire. He's not messing around, man.
I feel like that one guy tried to out him on Twitter, and he's like, honestly, screw all of you. I'm just gonna troll.
I love when people go at Shay on like Twitter or Instagram, like on
You're gonna lose. You're like, going to lose. Come for a very talented comedian, you will lose.
This is true. This is very true. He just annihilates everyone. So our boy Bowen, Bottle Boy, now affectionately known as Bottle Boy. What did you think of Bottle Boy?
I loved it. I thought it was so good, and it really showed his writing skills on because you can tell he built this character. So
yeah, I
liked being able to see him in that dimension because we got Chloe having her own weekend update character. So I liked, and we've had him before, but he came more as just him.
Yeah.
So I feel like this one was a little bit different, and I just want more Bowen.
Always. That's the real Yang Gang.
Yeah.
That's the real Yang Gang.
Every time I see it trending, I'm like, oh, so you guys understand who the most important Yang is right now.
Exactly. It's always been Bowen. Let's be real. Always been Bowen. No, I liked it. I liked that this was kind of their way of taking that because I'm from Syracuse, New York. I lived like everyone in New York is freaking out about not having plastic bags right now. And it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And I like that this was kind of the way that he went about it, of just kind of making it so ridiculous because it is very ridiculous. So I like that he just had this character come in that wasn't specifically a commentary geared towards that, but it did kind of say like, we're gonna, it's silly that people are mad about this. So we're going to have this guy be so mad about it that he comes up with all these weird examples of like, what are you going to do now? Put it in your JanSport, like all these little specifics of what people are supposed to use now instead of their plastic bags. And I was like, that's such a great angle to come at it from.
Yes, because get over yourself.
Exactly. Thank you, Steph, for that.
No problem.
Now, and if anyone has questions about coronavirus, obviously, talk to the girl at the party that you wish you had never started a conversation with.
Absolutely. She was she's who I've been looking for every time I leave the house.
I would really like to start a conversation with her.
I would 100% be so interested to see someone like her's take on what's happening.
Yeah, I think we saw it in a 2-minute segment.
You're absolutely right.
The amount of like all the word swaps initially, like to your point with Bowen and like his writing chops for that character, I feel like that's always a testament to Cecily when she does this character too. Because like it's so intelligent the way that she like weaves in and out of everything for such a dumb character, which is usually the case. To write those types of characters, you have to be very intelligent. And I think Cecily just kind of puts on a masterclass for that every time she does this character.
It's my favorite Cecily character.
Yeah, I was glad to see. It's been a while since we've seen her. So
yeah.
It's, same for Debbie Downer. Like these are characters that are perfect for these times. So I'm glad we got to see both of them come back, even though Cecily's still there.
Also, one character that caught a lot of heat because it was it was a little out of touch, and I don't know. Remember when Tina Fey did the cake after the 2016 election?
Yeah.
This would be a perfect time for that bit. And I actually felt for her, because when you're a comedian and you're writing week by week really fast, like your emotions kind of take over logistics.
Yeah.
And so it was hard. I was like, don't drag her too much. Like she's on the front lines a lot.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's a good point. I think that's very, very true and very similar. And I think this tonally like really hit the mark too for what's going on right now.
Me too.
Nice. Let's talk about this Knives Out meeting. The accent coach, Frankie. Beck is apparently a great dialect coach now too. Let's talk about that outfit first.
Beck.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
That was a fire outfit.
I feel like Beck is so comfortable now this year more than ever. He's just trying all these new things and always, excuse me, it's the croon, always doing a lot of the oddball of every sketch. Like most sketches this season, if there's one weirdo, it's been Beck.
That's so true. That is very true. And I feel like this was a great, I feel like they called it in on this sketch for writing. They called it in 100%. Like they're just like, let's have them yell in weird accents and then puke a lot. Like that's okay, cool. Great sketch. But Beck's performance in it, I thought was a great show for his talents, to the way that he seamlessly goes in and out of this, like these voices and his accents, and the intensity levels that he brings to them were always impressive. So I enjoyed getting to see that part of it. But then I was also just like, again, why is this sketch a sketch right now? Why did he write it?
Yeah, the after Weekend update, the sketches were not good to me.
Yeah. I think I wanted more out of this. And again, it was just one that kind of never really went anywhere. But the next sketch, Game Night, it wasn't my favorite, but it is the one I'm gonna do for Anatomy of a Sketch.
Are you gonna do it right now?
You know what? Why not? We only have one after this. Yeah, because we
now
only
I
have to
can stare at you.
Yes. You can look deeply into my eyes on my camera phone right now. So yeah, I wanted to do this Game Night sketch for Anatomy of a Sketch, because I think in an episode where structure of sketches didn't really exist for the most part, this did a really good job of sticking to a really great structure, and there were a lot of elements that I enjoyed in it. Throughout the whole episode, I literally in my head was going, what am I going to do for Anatomy of a Sketch? Because none of these sketches really had the beginning, middle, and end. Like they were all just kind of like messy. There were funny moments in a lot of them, but it just felt like a messy night to me. This sketch though, Heidi, I love to get to see her, first of all, play a character who's really weird, but also like fearlessly confident in themselves too. It's like she just really embodies the weirdness and is able to play these characters that you're just like, wow, I wish I had half the confidence you do, and you're so strange. So I always like when she does those characters. And of course we see the game starting off of them all wanting to go home, and this one kind of weird girl who's there by herself who wants to play quote, where everyone can do movie quotes and guess what they're from. And we see the game initially start with her being really good at it and realizing that Daniel Craig's character is really good at it. So you're like, oh, that's funny, cute game between the two of them of like saying a random line that isn't really a famous movie line and then latching onto it, being like, oh, I know what that is. So I was like, okay, great. So beat 1, they're doing that. And you're like, okay, that's funny. Beat 2, though, it turns into like a weird dirty talk session between them, one-upping each other almost on how good they are at this game, and using quotes like doing a deep quote. And like it just turned into this weird like pornographic version of a game night, and 2 people talking about how good they are at guessing movie quotes, which is just such a strange thought. And then in beat 3 is where we really got to see a lot of sketch escalation. We got to see them go from talking about just the basic movie quotes to then getting really short, to them just saying it's okay and knowing the movie, to them going back and forth between the Captain Phillips things, going up into speaking in Korean to know Parasite. From there, just not even doing anything, using hand motions when she coughed. And he was like, Philadelphia. So again, like finding ways to escalate, to finally ending with a kiss at the end, where they just make out with each other. And it's still part of the game in their minds. So I think that's part of what made it fun too, is that they were still playing the game. They were so into this that they had no idea that like, oh, no, you shouldn't make out with each other because one of you is married and your wife is sitting right next to you. By the way, Kate could not hold her shit together, and I loved it.
Kate, I feel like she was breaking a few times.
I think she just kind of said, you know what? It is what it is. Already broken. Let's go. Just gotta keep giggling.
It's hard when you break not to break.
Because you just keep going back to that place in your head. And I was like, honestly, it kind of works, and I'm okay with it. So I was full on board with that. And I liked that the button of the whole sketch went back to a callback of saying another movie quote after she kicks her out. So it kind of all came full circle. But that was the one that I want to do for an anatomy of a sketch, just because I think it made the most sense structurally to talk about. Thank you.
That was ASMR clapping a la Amy Maestri. That was wonderful. You actually made me see a lot more positives of that sketch. I did love I love when people break. I know some people don't like it, but I was a big Jimmy Fallon breaker fan. So I'm here for it when it makes sense.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So you're all here for it. Well, I know we're going to be wrapping up in a minute. So really quickly, what were your thoughts on the digital short for 80 and that overnight salad that she made? Looked delicious.
I thought it was funny. Did I leave? Oh, here I am.
There you go.
I thought it was funny. It's not wasn't my favorite 80 digital short, but it wasn't that bad. I thought the pacing was good. I thought that she was really great in it. I thought it was a funny premise because it was so random.
Yeah.
But it was definitely an end of night sketch.
For sure. I'm glad they put it right at the end. Same. The whole time I was watching it, I was like, I don't know why, but this is working for me. Like, I'm really enjoying this. The idea of putting it on the radiator overnight, it was so weird and so bananas that yes, that should be on at 12:55 right before the goodnights. Perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, lackluster episode, definitely had its moments. It was nice getting to see.
Probably because Daniel Craig was like, shit, my movie doesn't come out for like 15 years now.
Yeah. It's like, well, I'm checked out.
My roommate gives no shits right now.
This is what we get with our social distancing taping right now. This is the world we live in. Okay, guys, this is what we're doing.
She's the cutest human. She's like, are you recording? I'm sorry.
I know I wasn't sure if Harpo was going to come in. I wasn't sure if we were going to get a visit from my cat.
Everyone wrote like this video, leave a comment, also tell Harpo that's Amy's cat hello, because I'm sure this is a trying time for him as well.
Thank you for that, Steph. He'll appreciate it.
Of course.
He appreciates you. So I mentioned this at the top of the episode. SNL doesn't really know when they're going to be back. They did have an episode slated for March 28th, but they just announced, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that they are indefinitely putting off those next 3 episodes. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that, as I'm sure you guys will. And when SNL is back, we will be back as well, whether it's on our phones as we are right now or back in the studio. But in the meantime, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, do what the CDC is telling you to do. Steph, where can we find you online in the meantime? Because we're gonna have a little hiatus here. No,
I know.
time with each other.
You guys, you can find me at Steph Sabraw, Sabraw. And if you're lonely and you need a virtual hug sent to you, I will provide that, granted that you are nice. I'm here to support. It's obviously a time where we're going to feel really lonely and crazy in our houses, but we definitely are all together. And shout out to the entire SNL fam. I hope they're all safe and happy.
Yes, definitely. I echo that. And I know that Steph does give very good virtual hugs. I ask for them all the time. You can find me online at Amy Maestri on Twitter and Instagram. Same, hang out, watch your shows. We're going to be here on AfterBuzz doing all the recaps, so make sure to tune in. I know everyone's going to be binging everything, so it's a good time to catch up on your shows, guys. Be safe, and we will see you whenever SNL is back.
Bye.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.